up?
Hey everybody, how are y'all doing? So welcome to the Love You podcast.
Where we're giving all the E's.
Yeah, so we're here for the body of Christ to equip, to educate, to empower so that we can all just, you know what?
Live the abundant life.
The abundant life that He has called for us to live. Yeah.
So, what are we getting into today?
So a good topic it's a real kind of a big issue. Matters of the heart. Or heart matters. Yeah, heart matters. Yeah. Is your heart all right, friend?
I mean, she working on it. She had a little moment. She knew she was doing a tut. But then...
But you're here, friend.
I am. And matters of the heart are both physical and also emotional. But today we're going to do heart matters and how to keep it pumping.
How to keep it pumping. Absolutely.
So do you want to... Why don't you kind of give the people the heart's function?
Okay.
Kind of like diagram. Build us a picture.
All right, so the picture. So we all know that the heart's a pretty important muscle in the body, right? And so its ability to, or its function is to pump blood throughout our bodies, you know what I'm saying? And just give us life with every squeeze, give us life. And what's interesting, and I think a lot of people don't realize how hard the body works.
Right.
So believe it or not, every minute your heart pumps 5 to 6 liters of blood.
That is absurd. In the event that anybody, that's like legitimately that looks a lot like when people come into the office and I'm like, drink 64 ounces of water and like a liter is not even 64 ounces, but it's like that's every minute, it's this, just hit it one time, 3 times.
And then now what's even more interesting is that when you're actually moving, it's 2 to 3 times as much.
Really? Yeah. So like when I used to run half marathons, I can't even imagine.
Listen, 15 good liters. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. So we got to take care of this thing because it has a lot of work to do. Yeah. And a big part of what we're coming to today is because, we want people to understand, certain things with the heart and heart disease, cardiovascular and all these things, right? And so many conditions.
What is cardiovascular disease?
So that's kind of an umbrella term, right? So cardiovascular disease itself covers like heart attacks, it covers strokes, heart arrhythmias, if your heart valves are not functioning well.
Okay.
That's the umbrella of cardiovascular. Something is wrong with your heart. There's disease in your heart, absolutely. And so 2 big components, disease, So 2 big components that impacts that, right? Mm-hmm. 2 big things that we hear so much is hypertension and diabetes. Those are the 2 top, the sugars, yes.
And the salt.
Yeah. They are the enemy, absolutely. But that's it. I mean, it's just that simple, really. Right. Those are the 2 things that lead to that umbrella of cardiovascular disease, right? And so knowing your risk factors and things like that. So I think the big part that I like to really focus on is like hypertension, or what we all know as high blood pressure. So many people walk around, I got high blood pressure, but they don't understand physiologically what is going on with their body, right? So I got the sugars or I got the high blood pressure, but what is it actually doing, right?
That's what they say, I got depression.
And what's not going on with their bodies, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we talked about the 5 to 6 liters a minute.
Right.
And your heart's pumping, it's working. Now, usually we work out, you want your muscles to get bigger, right?
Yes,
the heart
pump.
Listen,
be like, oh my God.
You do. Listen, you want to get bigger.
Okay.
Right. So opposite of that for the heart, okay?
Right.
That is the one muscle in our body that we do not want to get bigger. We don't, right? So I'm going to give you a little demonstration here of what I mean.
Okay.
So, come on, Vanna. So this is, put it to your chest so they can see, friend. Yeah. So this is a picture of a normal heart size. And just disclaimer, y'all, okay, not the actual heart size, just for demonstration purposes, okay?
This is not necessarily what your heart looks like.
Right.
But it is a representation of what
it is.
A typical heart should look like.
Right, and there you go, right? And so this is your normal heart that's healthy, it's pumping, it's doing what it's supposed to do, right?
Okay.
So think about this. So this, squeeze it, friend, just a little bit. Okay, so it's squeezing, keep going, just keep doing the action real soft, don't pop the balloon. Okay. So doing the action, right? And so it's working. And your heart is pumping blood out to your vessels in your body, right? Your arteries. So if your arteries are restricted because of buildup, because of the fried chicken and the grease and stuff that's building up in your arteries and all that, and your heart working against all that, so whatever reason that's causing that,
mac and cheese,
whatever's causing that your artery to be restricted and not be able to move, you got to remember your heart is pumping 5 to 6 liters per minute, right? So now your vessel that you have is smaller, but that same amount of blood has got to push through that smaller space. For whatever reason, right? Okay. Yeah. So that heart's like, man, I got to pump against this pressure, pump against. And what happens is you go from this, and over time, you go to this. Okay? That's an enlarged heart. That's because that heart muscle.
Size of my neck.
Listen. That's because that heart muscle has had to work so hard against that high blood pressure that your body has, right? But listen, the Lord only gave us a little bit of space. You didn't get any more space.
Right.
Your heart got bigger, but you still have the same space. And so now what is happening is that you got this, but the heart can't do what it was created to do.
So now it's like...
So now, it can't move. It can't move. It can't fully function and move.
Tachycardia, is that what it is?
Heart failure, enlarged heart, all those things. It can lead to a lot of things, right? And so that's why it's so important to understand with your bodies, okay, I have high blood pressure, but what is it doing to me? Like, it really is going from this to this. And that's how you end up with like congestive heart failure and different kind of conditions, because your heart, it's working hard. And God don't give you any more space. You got what you got. That's it, right? And so you don't want to go from this to this. So we're going to do all we can to stay here.
To keep it healthy.
To keep it healthy here, And some people will say, the top number. So your blood pressure, top number, lower number. One's more important than the other. I'm not here to, go into that dialogue and have the argument. But just understanding, so when they're talking about your...
Okay.
Yeah, right. So the thing is, so the top number is called your systolic blood pressure, okay? And that's when your heart is actually squeezing and pumping the blood out to the rest of the body, right? So how strong your heart can squeeze to get that blood out. The diastolic, which is your bottom number, is when your heart's relaxing and the blood can fill into your heart so that you can have something to pump out. So to me, they're both important. I'm not having an argument, so people can do whatever they want to do with that, but they both have a job, And so the goal is to keep it about, 120 over 80 is pretty much the standard of what, where you want your blood pressure to be. Some people, for symptoms wise, right? Sometimes you won't have symptoms. People think they know.
Isn't it, or is that stroke? Which one is it where women have a tendency, like our symptoms are not as diagnosable?
That's heart attack. It's different. Yeah, it's more of the heart attack stuff. But just high blood pressure within itself, sometimes you can have headaches. Sometimes you can feel dizzy, that kind of thing. But sometimes you don't know. So the thing is, you got to be intentional and check your blood pressure. Go see your healthcare provider every, 6 months, or, check it at home, or when you're at Walmart or CVS, put your arm in a little machine and check your blood pressure. Right. Don't just make the assumption that, you know what your blood pressure is. You have to screen and you have to know what your numbers are. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that's, the function and like some of the disease stuff that comes along with heart stuff. So, So I know you're going to tell us some ways on how we can keep it healthy, how we're going to keep it pumping.
So my thing is always, what is the practical application of what I now know? So if I don't want to have cardiovascular disease, what are some things I can do? And then if I have, let's rephrase that real quick because words matter. If someone has cardiovascular disease, what are some things that they can do? And so very easily, the very first thing that most of your clinicians or providers are going to tell you is to move, right? And the recommendation is 150 minutes accumulated throughout a week. So what does that look like? That is 30 minutes 5 times a week. a lot of times it's like, well, how do I get that in? And so I always suggest finding an activity that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So whatever that is whatever you enjoy doing that you don't mind doing multiple times a week. So whether that's walking with a friend, riding your bike, take a class at your local gym, get a personal trainer that you can harass several times a week, like whatever your deal is, do that, right? Yeah. And then get some accountability, right? You want and don't get your friend, that's like, girl, I don't feel like going in the morning. You want to get somebody who's committed, and I like to call them, they're your tenacious, like your irritating, tenacious encourager. You want a tenacious encourager, right?
Help you stay committed,
exactly. And then you want to focus on how you feel. So a lot of after the workout. So a lot of times what keeps people from actually moving is they focus on dreading and everything that it's going to take to get to the workout. And then, oh my God, the first 5 minutes of the workout feels like I'm going to fall out, right? Don't let that be your focus. Your God is giving you this really a neat, amazing thing called dopamine, neurotransmitter. Yeah. If you'll just do it a few times, right? Yeah. You'll get a wonderful, it's like a, I'm gonna choose my word. It's great.
It makes you feel good.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Legitimately. It's a feel good
hormone or neurotransmitter.
That ain't the word, friend.
I know,
but that's
you gotta choose your words.
But yes, so you'll feel good. And the interesting piece though, very quickly about that is that the more you start to move, then even just the activity of sitting down to put on your shoelaces, that neurotransmitter, you'll start to get little dips and dots. Like it'll start, and then you get more of that as you progress into the actual exercise. Yeah. All right, and then you want to eat healthy foods.
Part. Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's the top two things. And legitimately, if we're super honest about it, everything that we discuss is going to be these top two things. It's
going to be a common thing.
It's going to be the trifecta of
you gotta eat right,
exercising and eating well. And so food kind of looks like this. It's either gonna heal you or it's gonna hinder you. And so you want to eat things that are going to heal you and not hinder you. So for heart health, you want healthy green leafy vegetables, legumes, so those are your beans and lentils, nuts and seeds, fruit with the hull on. Do not peel it off. Because
eat that skin.
You eat the skin. Yeah. Okay, and you want mono and polyunsaturated fats. Those are found in like yummy salmon and avocado and things of that nature. Okay. The common denominator here is you want to eat whole foods and not stuff primarily that comes in a box or package. Okay. Lose weight. And that's almost like the duh factor, right? Like we kind of get that in order for our bodies not to work as hard, that we have to lose weight. But I really would like for people to think about it more along the lines of reconstructing your body composition, because the more muscle mass you have on your body works for you. Like your machine, it's like 93 gas. Yeah, there you go. Your machine works better, and your body will burn fat more efficiently for you. Okay, and then you want to reduce stress. So chronic stress has been linked to high blood pressure. And so it's the release of cortisol. Right. And so then that's the stuff that makes it gather all around your belly. Right? And so you want to create opportunities to do activities that will reduce stress. One, if you know you have things or people in your life that are stressful, I highly suggest removing that. Two,
like boundaries. It's okay. Yes, boundaries are okay.
They are. And two, yoga and stretching, like the very act, helps bring the nervous system down. Breath work, which is they say 5 to 10 minutes daily, will help decrease the the stress response in the nervous system. And then last, because I'm always going to shoot you with a give me 5, so this is our 5th one: don't overeat.
Portion size is
right. I know they're like, well, duh, Tammy, but here's the deal. people overeat for a multitude of reasons, and usually that has a more of an emotional component. And so to that I say, therapy is amazing. Like, talk to somebody, journal, get a cute journal or something like that. Find other ways
to release,
to handle. Because you want to be here. You were put in this earth for a purpose, and so you want to be here to complete that. And you don't want, and yes, God can use you any kind of way.
But be your best self.
But legit, like
your best condition.
Exactly. If you can show up as your best self, why not show up as your best self? If you know that your wellness is well within your hands, why not take your hands and
I love what you say, wellness is worship. I love when you say
wellness
that.
Is worship.
It is.
It legit is. Like, it is.
It's our reasonable service to take care of this body that we were provided with, This is a temple
That's my favorite.
that houses the Holy Spirit, and we got work to do, It's so much work to do. So, I love that wellness is worship.
And if you're not, I feel like you remember the story of the talents, and the one that kind of dug that hole and kind of dropped it in there. I feel greatly like when we choose not to, because you can. Like, if I feel because you can, and calm down. You can. And you can make everything in your life may not be optimal, but you can take different pieces and parts and make good choices. And your body will respond to that. And God honors that because you are honoring Him with your temple and your time.
What your mentor said about the treat yourself or make decisions that
show that you value yourself.
Yes.
And that's the easiest way. Cause like, confession point for me is I was a list girl, honey. I had a list and check all the things off. Did I do it? I did it. Right?
Yeah.
But it really doesn't look like that. It looks like, is the decision I'm about to make, does it show that I value myself, and not just myself, but the anointing that's on my life, the purpose for which I'm here, the things that I have been blessed with. Am I showing that I value myself and all of those things that are attached to me? So so get your heart, keep it pumping.
Yeah, keep it pumping, and and this information, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody else.
Like, share, subscribe. I have no idea where that is on the thing, but.
Yes, at the harvest. What is the harvest?
The harvest is truly plenteous, but the laborers are few, and that looks a lot like there would be more laborers if we were, if there were more able-bodied folks doing what they needed to do.
Absolutely. So that's all about the love. That's why we're here.
To say, we love you, but also you need to love
yourself.
You've got to love you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so these are wellness decisions show that you love you. Just to go back to a few things over, like, not overeating. So, like, that sounds super straightforward, right? I mean, it's hit it with a duh. But because I'm saying that because so many people, and I've been like, that's part of my testimony is to eat your emotions, right? And so it really kind of looks like creating an atmosphere where you choose instead to therapy's good, journal, things of that nature, because overeating creates an alternate outlet. Because overeating creates an atmosphere for obesity, and then once we're there, now we've created the landscape for cardiovascular diseases, right? And so you really want to kind of you want to instead make healthier choices where your emotions are concerned. And then
can I interject just for like 2 seconds? So I know what certain I don't say seasoned people, how I want to put that, but how some people grow up, right? Like the food on their plate. You got to eat all the food on your plate. Yes. Okay? Yes. Even, I know people, they're full, but because they were trained and brought up, you don't throw away food. You eat all the food that's on your plate.
So I think what that looks like, because I did, personally, I remember hearing that, but then Jesus just sent me here different, because I was like, I'm going to go ahead and take that spanking. And we'll keep walking out and be done with it. I'm like, I'm sorry. I don't really want whatever that is. But I think what that looks like is a practical way, if that's something that you endured or was a part of your life, is to get a smaller plate.
And there you go. Yeah.
I mean, just something as simple as that. Like, cut your plate down. And so even as you're beginning to learn how to shop the perimeter of the store, so that you're eating things that at once had a heartbeat or roots. So those are your whole foods and not the processed things. You aren't able to put as much, and I'm gonna say this, I know some people are creative and y'all know how to create vertically. But
no mountains, no piles.
In a landscape situation or a horizontal situation, you won't be able to fill the plate up quite as much. And so that's just an easy, practical way that if that was part of your testimony that you're able, to do. And then going back to reducing stress, because chronic stress has been linked to high blood pressure, like we talked about, and because of cortisol, and then all of that sits around your belly, right?
Yeah.
And so yoga and stretching, this activity has been linked to many health benefits, including but not limited to stress reduction. But it also promotes mental and physical relaxation. And those two things combined reduce stress and anxiety. And so, like, that's kind of a word right now. Like, people are like, I'm anxious, right?
Yeah.
And one of the ways to reduce that anxiety is the exact opposite of what people usually do. Like, we like to grab our telephones and then we scroll and straight up and down. Like, that makes me more anxious because I mean, like, oh my God, what did they do? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that overstimulation
it's
and all
way
that
too
stuff.
much, legitimately. But
instead,
sit still, and the recommendation is 5 to 10 minutes daily. Practice breath work, and here is something that you guys can take, can start doing tonight. It's called 4-7-8 breath. Okay, and so I'm going to get Erica to help us with 4-7-8 breath. Okay. So Erica is going to inhale for 4 counts, and then she's gonna hold that breath for 7 counts, and then she'll exhale for 8 counts. And literally by round 3, like, you can usually people feel it in their body, but honestly, that first breath you take, you'll start to feel something different in your system. So if you can, whenever you get ready to practice breath work, you want to get in a position that's comfortable. If you're seated, you want your feet flat on the floor. And then you want to just kind of let everything fall. All right? So, Erica?
Yes.
You ready?
And I got one special request.
Yes, ma'am.
To use the standard seconds and not Yala's second. Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to put that out there.
You know what?
Okay, go ahead. Because y'all, I love her, but them seconds be long. But go ahead.
But that's okay, she enjoys. That has nothing to do with breath. That's when she comes to class, and we're, but anywho.
Extended seconds. Okay. Standard.
Okay. These are standard seconds.
Thanks.
All right. Good. So I want you to relax your shoulders, and if you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And then you're going to take a nice deep breath in through your nose and expand your belly. You want your belly to get big like a balloon. So here we go. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, hold it. And you're going to hold that breath for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Begin to exhale for 8, 7 through your mouth. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And go ahead and flutter your eyes open. So you guys aren't here, but if you could just feel the room.
Yeah, you did. There's
an immediate calm that happens.
Yeah,
and so the suggestion is 5 to 10 minutes, but if you're doing 4-7-8 breath, I say at least 3 rounds. And the other thing about doing something like breath work is, especially in stressful situations, it will help you. Once we say words, we can't take them back. So here's a way to kind of to circumvent some things that you won't be able to recover.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's go back and check
breathe before you speak. Literally.
That's it. Breathe before you speak.
Yeah.
And then let's just touch on one more time the common denominator to when we're discussing food and shopping the perimeter of the store. The common denominator is to eat things that at once, and I said this earlier, had roots or heartbeat. And I want to add this. What is it?
Oh, no.
Oh, you about to say something. Okay, sorry. I know that there are a lot of particular eating styles. I know there are a lot of particular eating styles, and so I'm not a proponent for being in like any of those things.
Okay. Right.
I'm a proponent for instead staying away from things that are processed and beginning to shift the way we view food and exercise, so that then shifts the decisions, that the wellness decisions that we're making, and then that has the trickle down effect of what happens in our system, in our body.
So not these diets.
Yes, I don't believe in diets.
Neither do I.
But I have a friend.
I
have a friend, and like, give that man a word and he will dissect it. He was like, "Do you see the word?" He said, "Well, no." His big one is belief. There's a lie in every belief, because if you break up the word belief, then the word lies. But legitimately, I mean, if you think about it, but think about that. Diet, the word die is in there. Like, it does actually exist in there. And so it really isn't about what could be. When I trained people, I used to always say, anything that you do will work if you choose to do it consistently. Yes, but what you actually want to do are things, is change your lifestyle. You want to do things that you are willing to continue. Yes. Like something that you are willing to make a part of your life. If you're not willing to make it a part of your life, there's no reason to do it.
Yeah. You can't maintain it.
Exactly. It makes no sense.
None at all. So, I think these are great tips. Okay. All right. So I think that's everything. And about the sodium, what is it? 2 tablespoons?
Oh, no, teaspoons. It was teaspoons, not tablespoons.
Was it? Okay, I don't remember. I thought it was 2. Okay. 2 teaspoons, that's right.
2 teaspoons, because I had
that's a little bit. It's like, wow.
Slip of the tongue. Yeah. But it's 2 teaspoons or 300 milligrams. So that's just a little perspective of sodium. That's a little perspective on, when you're considering how much salt is in stuff. But that also should help you shop the perimeter, because most of your things that are packaged are going to be full of 2 things: sodium and high fructose corn syrup, because they are both cheap preservatives. And so they're going to be in everything, and those 2 things are directly related to heart diseases and diabetes. Yeah.
So we appreciate y'all hanging out with us today for these heart matters.
And we'll see you next time.
Y'all take care. Love you.